Okay, so I'm going to put this one in there as well. Let's see, did we get it? Boom. Alrighty. So, welcome to everybody. Thanks very much for joining here. I can see all the people who have joined on the live stream, but the point of this video is to test the Mac Mini M2. So this is the base model, right? The $599 model, I think. If you want to pick it up, check out in the description below. The links are down there. But what I'd like to do is test it in DaVinci Resolve, which we're going to do in a moment. As you can see, DaVinci Resolve is open. But before we're going to do that, I want to mention a very interesting and important thing as well. Someone says audio is too low. Well, let's see if we can get it up by a bit. How is this now? Is that a bit better? How's this now? Let me know if that audio is better. What I'd like to do is introduce the Raffle that you might have heard of if you are familiar with this on the channel. If you might have seen this, what I've talked about. If you don't know, you can find more information, the full video in the description below. But the bottom line is this, that we're going to have to move out from this bedroom. I'm going to have to find a studio for this, and I'm trying to raise some funds for the studio move, because as you can imagine, it's going to cost quite a pretty penny. So audio too loud. Okay, let's see. Well, I'm just hardly hitting yellow, so minus 15 dB, so it should be fine over there. And basically the genesis is this: if you'd like to win this Mac Mini M2 Pro, or this Mac Mini M2 that I have over here, or the i5 13600K that you can see over here, then you can just follow the links in the description below that takes you to raffle.com website. And then I can actually show you this here as well. Let's go to this, sorry, this and this one. Let's go to YouTube so you can see this. And basically by entering a ticket by just $1, you can actually win one of these things over here. So you can see we're going to be live here right now. Let's go to the description of this video, and then you can see this raffle.m2. We're going to go to this page, and as you can see, this is the raffle over there. 3 prizes that are going to win. If you get 1 ticket, you can win one of these. If you get 2 tickets, you can win 2 of them, a chance to win 2 of them. If you get 3 or more, you have a chance to win all of them. So if you want to support the channel and win something great, I highly recommend you check that one out. Okay, let's go back to DaVinci Resolve. I want to show a few more things here. By the way, if you have any tips for me for DaVinci Resolve, I can see the comments there. Just let me know. Anything that I can do better, let me know over there. But on the top here, I've got an app called Statistica Pro. And then you can see a few sensors and temperatures and something on the top here all the time. So this is basically the CPU temperature there, or like a package temperature, and the fan RPM. The fan most likely is just gonna be in base level all the time, but we have a CPU core 1, so this is the performance core there, and then we have the power supply there, as you can see. And then we have the M2 GPU. You can see how much that is utilized. The RAM, which only has 8 GB on this base model. And then we have the CPU. Okay. We're going to lock that one out there as well. And then let me just change. Let's make this a little bit smaller. Okay, now I'll put myself in the bottom corner there, as you can see, like that. Sorry, this is the wrong one. Audio's good. I need even more though. Okay, if you have any questions, tag me at TechNotice and I can answer that at the same time as well. But let's start with this test, okay? So the timeline settings over here is, this is a 4K timeline, and 30 frames per second playback, okay? I'm gonna have to change that all the time because interestingly DaVinci Resolve only plays back whatever you set. This one here, so this is 25. Let's see if it plays back. Yeah, it's all right. So this is 30 frames per second, 422 10-bit H.264. Let me get this one here so you can see that there as well. Some of the information about the footage, okay? That dock is a little bit annoying me, but let's go. Okay, plays back very, very nicely, full resolution. There is no proxies or anything enabled, just so you know. Let's see, where is this? Playback, there we go, timeline full, nothing like that, nothing's on. So as you can see, it's going great. In terms of the color grade, I do have a little bit of a color grade on there. I have taken the noise reduction off there just because it seems like the GPU just can't handle it at all here at 25. So there's a little bit of curves, one LUT and second LUT. It's not to make the footage nice, it's just to kind of show you that there is a bit of a color grade going on. And if we go back to here, you can see scrubbing is very, very instant with this types of things, right? This is 30 frames per second. If we're going to take this here and let's do that and let's do this now, okay? So we've got noise reduction, first node in there. Let's go back and let's see. Look at that, press play. It just absolutely can't do it, right? GPU is the absolute bottleneck, just can't handle it at all. For 1080p video editing, 8 GB of RAM enough? I think it is enough, but depends what you do. Like if you do any of these types of effects here, then you're gonna see that it is not enough at all. Okay, what was going on? Oops. No, what I want to do is copy this like that, and then we're gonna copy these. Alrighty. See, these ones don't have the noise reduction is already out. So 30 frames per second H.264 is completely fine. Moving on to 25, well, kind of moving backwards to 25, I guess. Alrighty, where is the digital glitch text from templates? Okay, where are the templates? I am not like a DaVinci Resolve user by day. I'm just trying to like kind of learn these tests, but that's about it. So if you can let me know, where are these effects? Is it in effects? I have no idea what I'm doing here actually. Let me know where the digital glitch text effects is. Color fusion, is it here? My goodness. Just in the search box. Okay, I guess is it where is the search box? Is it effects? Wait a second, I'll put myself in the bottom corner there for a second. And then this one, let's say digital glitch. Okay, let's have a look. How does this work? There we go. I learned something new today. Let's press play. Okay, was that GPU 100%? Look at that. Not very good. Let's see what this is like. If you try to play this back. I'll just put this at 24 frames per second, 25, sorry, what it used to be here. Okay, and then look, literally, it can't do it if the color grade is on in the back there. Let's take the color grade off. Let's see if it can handle it then. Oh, it takes the effects off as well. Okay, let's see if we can, we'll go there. And this, let's take all the nodes off right now. Okay. This one, that one, and if we take that to Hello. Oh, wait a second. I think like that. And then like that. Alrighty. So no color grade on at all. Here. Literally can't play this back. Apparently. Look at that. Not able to do that. I mean, this is a 4K timeline, right? Let's see if we change it to 1080p. Is that going to be different? Any different? It's hacky. Laggy. Definitely not working here. This is an SI, 25 frames per second, okay? And you can see the editing is very, very smooth. Like scrubbing is instant. Wait a second, let's go back to 4K because then it's equal to what we're doing. Look at that. Scrubbing through the timeline, and this is completely fine. The M1 Pro, Marosh is saying it stutters even on M1 Pro doing that. Well, that's why you need an RTX card. Just try it even with RTX 3050. It's going to be much, much better just because it has so much more GPU calculating. Like noise reduction as well, just doesn't work at all. Look, if I put the noise reduction on, it's pretty much the same. Right? We'll go back there, press play. It's 25 frames per second, noise reduction. Just can't do it. Plays back 3 frames per second. GPU's absolutely 100% there. Look at that. Can't do anything. If we take the color grade off and effects off, yeah, no problem. Can play this. So depending how much you're going to do on the, Mac, that depends on that, how much you can play back and so on. So this is 60 frames per second. Let's change the timeline to 60. Save. Okay. This has got now the color grade on as well, I think. Yep. So let's take this off. Noise reduction off for now. I'm just going to put that on my clipboard as a copy so we can instantly take the noise reduction off if you wanted to. So plays back without color grade right now. Okay, no effects, nothing's on. We can see some new people joining the stream. Welcome. And it's playing it back. Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing, okay? No problem. And now with color grade, 60 frames per second. Actually, that is weird. Why does it play back 60 frames per second if my... Oh, because it's the timeline is... Why can't it change the timeline frame rate? Anyone know how I can change the... How can I change the timeline? How can I do that? No. Once you have set your timeline, can you change the settings afterwards? Huh? Anyone can help? Well, because right now if I'm pressing play, it plays back like the footage at a faster speed, which is faster than the timeline, which is mental because the footage is actually 60 frames per second, but it plays the timeline back 60 frames per second because the timeline, well, it's kind of messed up because it should be playing this back normal thing because this is just 60 frames per second, but as you can see, we're playing it back. Alrighty then, well, we'll just have to play with 24. I have to do a new timeline. Well, if I do new timeline from the clip, can I do a new compound clip? New timeline. I'd have to do all of these again and new timelines. That is very, very annoying. 60 FPS, click here. Very funny. Okay, if I copy it and paste it in a new timeline. Let's go back here, right? Let's do a new timeline then. Wait a second, how can I, why doesn't it let me do a new timeline here? Create a new timeline using selected bin. Well, I don't have timeline. No. Flipping heck. Why is it so hard to figure out when your mind is just working in Premiere Pro? Timelines, import. Do you know what? I'll just stick to what we can do and what I know. We can figure that out. Is that just create? Is that it? But why is it so confusing? Create timeline using selected bins. Okay, test. Okay, let's have a look. Let's take this 60 frames per second timeline. Hello? Where's everything gone? Is it just loading? Come on! Is it just lagging like that? Is that what it is? Hello? Yeah, it's lagging. Goodness me! What the heck just happened? Okay, now we'll see test timeline, alright. Can't change the frames per second again. Why? Why? There's some kind of a thing that you can't do it certain way, I don't know. I don't know. Beats me. Anyone? So if I look at that. New timeline. Okay, so is it so look at that, it's still 24. How can I make it 25? Okay, this is a bit mental. I'll figure this out for the next time, because it would be embarrassing to do that live here if you guys know it much more in the comment section below. But what I can show you is all the different codecs and clips, even at 24 frames per second. Let's play them back at 24, like what the timeline has been set, even though the footage is not 24 frames per second, okay? I don't know, why doesn't it do that? That, okay, this is a 25 frame or 24 frames per second timeline. We've got a 60 frames per second clip. If I press play, it plays it back, you know, in real time, you can see, okay? And this is 60 frames per second. So if I want to make this slower or faster, why doesn't it play this back? Normal things. Anyway, random. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine. I'll figure it out next time. So with the color grade here, just 60 frames per second, H.264, 420 8-bit is fine. That's why I think DaVinci is so confusing. Maybe someone who's already used DaVinci all the time, it's not confusing, but timeline maybe means a bit different thing in Premiere Pro project and the timeline. Okay, it's completely fine. If we go to the why does this shortcut not work anymore? There we go, it does. If you take here, I'm not even gonna try the, I'll just paste that in there because I've done that, and then we'll go here and then we'll paste that, so that's off and there, and then we're gonna press play. Wait a second, what's going on? Okay, it's kind of doing it back, playing it back, 60 frames per second. That's nice. Except... oh, it froze. Okay, interesting. When you go full screen, it might freeze on you. As you can see, depending what you're doing, it's not ideal. Okay. By the way, this is screen like just a 1080p screen. I don't have even like a fancy screen on it, so the GPU on the M2, sorry, doesn't have to do a lot of upscaling or downscaling because it's just very fine, you know. Okay, I mean it's pretty good. 60 frames per second, can do it as well, as long as you don't put noise reduction on it. Unchecked project settings. Aha. Alrighty. I think Mr. Bjoy just literally sorted us out. Let's say we call it test 3 or 2. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Is this, what's the frame rate now? We're still 24 frames per second. What's going on? I know this clip is 60 frames per second. So if we take something from, oh my word. Why is it lagging so much? Hello? While it's lagging, I'll tell you about the raffle that I'm running. Learn more about the raffle in the video description below. As you can see on the screen, you can win the Mac Mini M2 Pro for $1. If you want to enter the giveaway, oh no, it's not a giveaway, by the way. It's not a giveaway. It's just a raffle where I'm trying to raise funds for this. But what is going on? Where's the clips gone? Okay. Okay, that's a bit interesting. So if we take this one and we go here. Interesting, by going there doesn't mean I'm actually switching between the timelines. Is it playing it back 60 frames per second now? No, it's not. Bro, uncheck and to format tabs and change frame rate. Okay, let's try this. Still 24 frames per second. What is going on? Let's try audio track type, use project settings. Okay. We're going to try this timeline format. Let's just create something, timeline. Why can't I change this later? Do I have to change it to 60 and then it's going to be that? Is that what it is? Okay. Do I have to select 60 in here? That's ridiculous. Why can't I change the timeline? Okay, format. Yeah. Okay, there you go. Square. Use vertical. Don't want to go project settings. Okay. Let's try. Yeah, timeline 15. Go on then. Timeline 15. What did I put? 25 frames per second. Okay, it plays back 60 frames per second. What is going on? But this still shows. Okay, let's go. It still shows 24 frames per second. What the heck's going on? But it plays back 60. Oh, this is project settings. Okay, where the heck is timeline settings then? I can see this is project settings. My bad. We'll just go back to what we were doing before because this is too confusing. Why does it do that? Why doesn't it allow play if you've got a timeline of a certain frame rate, but if you play it back, why doesn't it play back the native of the clip rather than the timeline? Which is weird. It's very weird. Wait a second, does that mean that if I put here a clip of 25 frames per second, it's going to start playing back still 60 frames per second? How does that make any sense? Does it make frames in between for this? Okay, well, I'll just move on. I'll just move on. 60 frames per second, okay? We've done that one. It does quite a good job in 60 frames per second. 42210-bit, by the way. This is H.264 as well. So this usually is on the CPU. If you're on the Windows PC, there is no hardware acceleration for this one. But if we press play in here, I know this plays back only 24 frames per second. La-da-da, la-da-da. This is live, by the way. Red Bunny Classic. This is live, absolutely live. Okay, if I'm just pressing play here, you can see that most of it is played back. There's a bit of space on the RAM. CPU is not doing lots, 12%. And this is 56% utilized. Not bad. Wait a second. What's going on here? Why is there 10 gigabytes? Why has the M2 got 10 gigabytes of memory? I am using the right one. Yeah, of course I am. This is the M2 Pro. This is the M2 base model. It's only got 8 gigabytes of RAM. Either the sensors are reading some kind of a gaga, or why is there 9.5 gigabytes of memory? It doesn't exist. Does it mean that it uses some of the SSD as a GPU memory? That will be interesting. But it plays this back very, very nicely. This is a 4K timeline. Are we playing it back 4K resolution, right? I know this is 25 frames. See, that's what our other thing. We can change the resolution, but not the timeline frame rate. ¿Por qué? Why? No, why? Why you do this? It's fine. Let's move on to a little bit of a different codecs here. If we go... So this is Canon C200, okay? And I'm gonna go straight away and take the nodes off here. Take the noise reduction off because, okay, voila, it can't play that one back. Here's the proof. It's the live stream 10 plus. Thanks very much. But you should have put that $2 into the giveaway in the description below, because then you would have also got a chance to win something back, like this Mac Mini M2 Pro or the M2 Mini or the 13600K. Over 2K of prizes to be won. You should have done that instead, but thank you very much. But this way, YouTube takes a big cut if you give me this money, but everything's for free for you anyway. But if you do want to support the channel and the Studio Move, check out the giveaway that I'm talking about here in the video description below, and it's also on the pinned comments. Alrighty. So this is 60 frames per second. Wait a second. 20. Okay. The first clip is 24. This is 60 frames per second. And that is 50 frames per second. Alrighty. So 24 frames per second. This first clip plays back quite nicely. And we've got the color grade on as well. Works very nice. Now this is 60 frames per second, 59,940. Works fine, doesn't it? Look at that. Scrubbing, everything is very good, I'd say. Look at that. So this is 50 frames per second as well. Scrubbing some moon clips, very smooth. It's amazing though that DaVinci Resolve, with this type of PC, it's still a computer, right? Personal computer. It's for, I think, $5.49 you can get it now, even $50 off sometimes. For $600, a machine like that edits stuff like that. That is pretty amazing. Now let's try some of the H.265 or high efficiency video codecs. Obviously, first thing we have to do is take all the noise reduction off. Boom. Very good. Got that one off. We'll go back. Press play. No problem. Project is 4K project here. If we're scrubbing through, it's very good. This is 420 10-bit. Usually this one is accelerated on the GPU, but I don't know, the sensors can't quite read the GPU, I mean the encoders on the Mac. It just says Apple video card or GPU is that. See again, why is that memory allowed to go over 10 gigabytes? That beats me. This is H.265 4K 24 frames per second 420 10-bit. This should be accelerated on the GPU. And as you can see, it is. Here as well, you can see GPU usage there. This should be GPU used as well. Yep. What about this clip? 422 10-bit. Okay, it's quite smooth. Let's try color grade as well. Very instant, honestly. Feels like I'm working with 1080p even though these are 4K clips. And if we are looking at these clips here, these are the H.265 Canon R5. So 60 frames per second, 4K, 422 10-bit H.265. Buttery smooth with color grade as well. That's crazy. $200-watt studio. Thanks for that $5, dude. Or dudess. Probably dude. Thank you for this support. But I mention again, you should have given this on the raffle in the description below, because that way you will actually get a chance to win something amazing as well, like this M2 Mac Pro. It's not a joke what you can see on the screen. It's for real. You can win yourself one of these Macs for $1. You could have had 5 tickets and had 5 chances to win. I mean, this is buttery smooth, and it's with color grading, so any H.264 and 5 codecs seems like it's okay. As long as we don't do GPU heavy stuff, like I show this again, digital glitch here. I'm not going to even put it on top of a footage. It can't play that back. You can see there's no like GPU power to play this back. Thanks, Mike from Germany. And thanks for being here and supporting this. live stream. Next off, we have, let's have a look. Let's have a look. We have, let's try red raw. Okay. Why doesn't it? What's going on? There we go. Is it there that I have to click? Yeah. Okay. Not on the... Anyway, interesting. So this is red 4K, but again, we're going to have to take the color grade off. Boom. Not color grade, the noise reduction off. Then it's going to be a bit smoother. And if we are looking at the timeline performance, it feels very, very smooth to me. Very, very smooth. Screwing through. Very nice. Press play. 34 frames per second. 4K red raw. No problem. $600 Mac. Interesting. Look at that. The M2 GPU doesn't do anything. And everything is on the CPU. Now the GPU started doing something. I'm not sure how accurate those sensors are there then. Let's move on to 5K. By the way, if you do have any questions, tag me at TechNotice here on the chat, and then we can get this working. Alrighty. This needs a bit of a... Let's take that off. 5K. Okay. That was the gap of the... See, noise reduction not on. But if you press play, it's not playing it back. Let's take the color grade off. Look at that. As soon as it hits more than 4K, either the GPU starts to do some down-resing, up-resing or something like that, but it's not able to do that. Look at that. Our CPU is 60, 66 degrees. Oh, thanks 10 Plus for your support. How long have you been a subscriber? I'm just wondering if you remember. Okay, someone's saying time is interesting. We're going to get Mac Mini M2 at my university, including one for me as an audiovisual tech. I just hope they can handle 1080p editing for the 10 years we're going to use them. Yeah, 1080p I think is fine. But, again, if you have lots of color grade on, it might not be. I'm happy with my PC as well, by the way. Full-on PC here, what we're using. Much better use case for our timeline. But just exploring some of the budget options as well, because some people might look at this and think, look, $599. Is it any good? As soon as we hit more than 5K, can't do absolutely anything. So this is B raw. This is no effects on at the moment at all. Okay, we're playing it back, I think. Come on. Ah, there we go. Good morning. How's it going? It's going good. Okay, the 6K B-raw here is being played back quite alright. As soon as we hit the color grade on, let's put this on. I'm going to take the noise reduction off because it's probably going to not handle it. Color grade on, press play. It seems fine. So depending on the codec, red raw 5K, can't quite play that back. Like the 13600K would play that back no problem. Go have a look at that on my channel. Made a video about that already. $24. Look at that. I think M2 is better than M1, even if you get 16 gigabytes. Tech Life with MPS, 12100 to 13500. Ooh, you got a huge performance increase doing that. 6K red raw. Let's see what we can do. No noise reduction. Pressing play. Okay, this is 4K timeline as well right now. Okay, timeline resolution. It's funny that when you've got a project here, we can't change the timeline frames per second. Again, I'm talking about the same thing, but not able to do it. Let's take the color grade off. Still nothing. Absolutely nothing. Okay. So as you can see, red, like apart from red 4K, red raw, any 5-6K can't do it like at all. Still 4K. Pressing play. Wait a second. So this 8K gets played back at 4K, no problem. That's quite nice. Scrubbing through and hitting on the timeline, not that bad at all. That's fine. But if we are taking the timeline to now 8K, there we go, 8K DCI. This is without color grade or anything. Press play. Not quite working. Nope, I'd call it a no for the Canon RAW. Unless you leave it at 4K timeline, then it's going to be fine. This here, it can't even load it. Okay, 4K timeline with this red footage here. No color grade, press play. I mean, not ideal. I'm not even gonna try like putting any color grade on this because this just doesn't work. And now the final thing here, this is 12K, okay? We've got a 4K timeline and there's 12K clips on here. Scrubbing is super easy. This is B-RAW 6K. Look at that. That's amazing. Would you look at that? That's very, very smooth. And plays back completely fine. But if you put the resolution to 12K, like, why would you do that? Doesn't even allow. It's doing it. Let's say if you put it to, yeah, okay, 4K resolution, but we're gonna put the color grade on. I'll take the noise reduction off, sorry. And now let's see if it plays back. Look at that, 12K footage with color grade played back, no problem. That's insane. Okay. 200 Watt Studio says, used your BC guides to build my first great PC, waiting for the parts to arrive. Do you have setup PC after build video for AMD video? No, I don't. Maybe I should do that. But it's very, very similar to the Intel one, depending if you're using ASUS board or something like that. If you have ASUS board, what I do is make sure that you have the GPU driver, if you have AMD GPU. If you have AMD CPU, make sure that you use Armory Crate, for example. It's the same on Intel system. Armory Crate for ASUS boards. Gigabyte has their live update. I think MSI has their MSI Center, but I don't like that MSI Center as much. It used to be much better. Now it's not as good. But basically, that program will just find the latest drivers on one of the side tools, like a toolbar there. You find the drivers, install the drivers, boom, shakalaka, it's all done. But then it's decent. So then, what is the conclusion then about this? Should you, is it good for video editing? This Mac Mini M2, just the base model. And I would say it's okay, depending what you're doing. As you saw here, as soon as we start increasing the resolution above 5K, we are instantly struggling, unless we like dial down the timeline resolution or playback or something like that, which I think people will gonna do when we're using this, right? They're probably gonna play this back. Do you know what? Let me just try that. If I have the red 8K red raw here, right? And then let's say we have a 1080p timeline, because you can still up-res it to a different resolution on the export. 1080p timeline. Okay, let's take the color grade off. Looks quite all right. Press and play. Come on. Still maybe not. So I think when the different resolutions are going higher than 4K, maybe it's not as good doing that, just because it's going to run out of RAM, because that RAM is going to be divided between CPU, which means applications, and GPU. So that's insane. And obviously not enough for 8 gigabytes of system memory and GPU memory sharing that. That's not enough. And even at 24 gigabytes is kind of not enough there as the unified memory. I know this works slightly differently and la-da-da, but still you can see some of the larger scenes when you're doing GPU effects or 3D can't quite hack it with 24 gigabytes even at that. Someone is saying there that I'm not a serial upgrader. I'll go for the best I can afford when I think the time is right. Might just wait until summer to see if a new Mac Studio appears. We'll see. There's some talks about them skipping the Mac Studio, but then some talks where they actually upgrade the Mac Studio as well. But then they'll have to have the M2 Max there and M2 Ultra, but I think M2 Ultra got skipped, so I'm not sure if they are actually going to update the M2 Mac Studio lineup. What they're probably going to do is skip the like M2 chip kind of lineup for the M2 Mac Studio and then go straight to the M3. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. But they might upgrade some compute units or something like that for Mac Pro. But what they also should be doing is updating the Mac Pro to the latest Sapphire Rapids from Intel and get DDR5 RAM and 56 cores, insane CPUs there. I think a lot of high-end Mac users would love to have. I know this is still x86 kind of a system, but still, I think it would be great. So now then, where do we conclude this? Another thing I do want to mention is if you go less than 4K, it's completely fine to edit any of the H.265 and 4 codecs, because it really plays them back really well, those media engines inside. But also kind of be moderate about the GPU effects, because obviously the GPU is not very, very powerful in there. Even the M2 Pro is not as powerful there. If you do want to see the M2 Pro, then let me know in the comment section below. I'll try to do that. If you do have any other questions, let me know right now in the comments. I'm gonna try to answer them there. But one last thing, if you do want to win the M2 Pro or the M2 Mac Mini, both of them or one of them, and the 13600K, then check out the links in the description below or the pinned comment for this live stream, and then you can follow there. The tickets cost £1 or $1 to enter, and it's we'll see what happens. There's a few more days to go. On 13th of March it's going to be the end, so 5 more days to go, and then this is the end and someone's going to win this all. Thank you very much guys for watching and tuning into this live stream, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you. You guys are awesome, and hopefully this helps you with the M2 Mac Mini. Bye bye.